Okay, shalom, wonderful, very interesting lesson ahead. David, the lamp of Israel. Okay, this is very intriguing stuff. Let's go and have a look. Okay, so first of all, just want a very brief outline because we're going to be looking at some really interesting stuff. We're going to go and have a look at this verse that we're going to analyse in context. The verse which calls David the lamp of Israel that must be taken off the battlefield so that the lamp doesn't get extinguished. And then some of the mystical names that is associated within that chapter. David is called a very mystical name, and also there's reference to Michal, Saul's daughter, that's also very mystical. We'll have a quick look at that, but then see how that is linked to Zachariah 4 and the two olive trees and the lampstand, and also another phenomenal concept, how that mystical name is linked up to a concept found in Isaiah 53:9, which talks about the suffering servant that was buried amongst the wicked, but he did no violence, he did no Hamas. So it's very related to the current events that Israel is facing, and there's some very powerful links, there's some mysteries that we need to see revealed that help us, empower us with the right kind of knowledge to understand these events very clearly. Okay, so let's go and have a look at we'll go and have a look at this in a couple of the gematria, and then have a look in context back at the entire chapter as it's written in 2 Samuel. Okay, so let's have a look at the verse. It says, "But Abishai the son of Zeruiah aided him and struck the Philistine and killed him. Then the men of David swore to him, saying, You shall no longer go out with us to battle, so that you extinguish not the lamp of Israel." So I'm just going to show you some wonderful gematria that what is this is related to, and then go and have a look at this verse in context, because like I said, there's mystical names and there's some phenomenal facts. I'm not going to go through the entire chapter because it's going to take too long. I've got so many numbers that I'd like to get through, but it's always important to look at things in context, and that context comes up. We can learn a lot from it in this lesson. So that you extinguish not the lamp of Israel. Okay, first number I think we're going to be looking at is the 1656, because it's phenomenal right there. What's this about then? What's the lamp that can't be extinguished? You shall give truth to Yaakov. What truth? Od Yosef Chai. And this number is 8 times or 8 times light. Okay, so there were 7 lamps on the lampstand, and then there was this big basin above. But it's all connected and it's all wonderful. This number comes up as well later when we're looking at something else. It's amazing how it's all interrelated. So first of all, what is the truth that to give to Yaakov? Od Yosef Chai, Yosef is still alive. This is the Torah of Mashiach ben Yosef. That's a revelation of the name of Yod-Heh-Wawe at the level of Keter, and we're going to see very clearly that those numbers these numbers are related to both Keter and Tifereth, the unity of the upper face of Yod-Heh-Wawe and the lower face of Yod-Heh-Wawe, above the letter of the Torah, within the letter of the Torah. Okay, and I don't know whether this image to be found in Zachariah, because the oil lamps pour into basins, and they've got vats, and then they've got channels that channel from these bowls down into the bowls on top of the actual oil lamps. So it's a big mystery. You know, is the menorah, and then David, who is the lamp of Israel. There's so much to be thinking about. It's all very relevant to us. So this goes back to the fact that Yosef cannot be extinguished. The light of Yosef cannot be extinguished. And you know what? I've had a real battle with this. I've had a real battle with some Jewish people on Facebook this week that have tried to say, you know, Christianity's completely done away with, it's come to an end, it's all about Yehuda. You get spoon-fed this. They just want you to totally abandon all the lies of Christianity, but all the truth as well. Right, but anybody who was coming to Christianity knows that we faced an incredible battle as Joseph to get to the place like where I am today, where I can understand the things that I'm teaching, is not a small feat. It's an incredible amount of effort to fight against all the forces of darkness. And I put a comment on. I want to read you that comment because it's really important. You see, the truth that give over to Yaakov or Joseph Chai, Joseph is still alive. We carry the light of Mashiach ben Yosef because we were the ones that light passed to us. The soul of Yeshua touched our souls and it brought us to light. It's an undeniable experience. It's a born again experience. If you've experienced it, you know all about it. Okay, and you can't deny it. Now we come to our brothers in Yehuda. We want to come back to Torah. We want to return all the way. We're carrying this torch within us, and they just want us to put it out. They just deny it. He says, he died for you. Let him just be dead. I've been literally told that. That's the advice. Well, he's just your man, just like any other rabbi from a Jewish perspective. They don't get it. We're literally carrying a revelation of the name of Yod-Heh-Wawi, the upper face of Keter. We've had to battle all alone against all the forces of evil to keep this light alive, and they just want us to extinguish it just because we've come into contact with our Jewish brothers, and they don't recognise that light. They just think that Christianity is one big form of idol worship, but in that is the truth. Hidden the truth that must be given to Yaakov. Those two lights have got to come together, and these numbers will prove that. I just want you to read the comment, because if you're listening to these teachings, you've come on one hell of a journey, right? If you can understand the things that I am teaching, you've come on one hell of a journey. It's not been easy to get to this day. We're standing on the shoulders of 2,000 years of bloody, violent, horrific history. Christians have caused people to suffer. Christians have suffered horrifically in this Edomite exile. You couldn't even publish a book in the Bible in English. The people who did got martyred. You couldn't even teach people in Greek once it'd been translated to Latin. The people who did got martyred. It's just an horrific, bloody history. The Protestants killing the Catholics killing the Protestants, all the denominations at war, witch hunts. It goes on and on. Even the conversion process and the spread of Christianity. It's a bloody history, yet they want us to put this light out. It came too far. We're right there. We have to come together, not extinguish the light. So I want to read this because it's very important. Okay, so I'll just read you it. It's quite a long comment that I had to make, but this was after battling all day against people who are trying to help at least recognise the lost house of Israel and the lost house of Ephraim. But they just want you to extinguish anything to do with the truth about Yeshua. We can't extinguish it. This here shows that the lamp of David cannot be extinguished, and the oil that goes into that lamp is the truth. It's a revelation of the upper light and the lower light, the upper face and the lower face, and we will get to that. Gematria proves it. But first of all, just so that you're with this struggle, that they expect us to just give it up, deny Yosef. Deny the truth that Yosef lives. Yosef lives in us. Yeshua lives in us. The light of Mashiach ben Yosef has touched our soul. It's alive within us. And that's what's really driving us forward. So he put Christianity's basically dead. There's no life left in it. That's what he was saying. It's just come to an end. Jewish people trying to help 10 tribes. All credit to him that he's trying to do something, but he's ill-informed as to what our mission is, or to what the whole purpose of Christianity was. It's not just to roll over and die. It's to live. It's to live till we see that unity. So Christianity has within it the lost house of Israel. Erev Rav has Yehuda lost within its evil outer crust of lies. Islam has the lost of Israel within it. Also, you are basically saying, therefore, because it's said that Christianity is dead now, done away with, come to an end. You are basically saying Yod-Heh Waw-Heh has broken covenant with Yosef because of the outer husk. Then by this measure it will be measured to you. Yehuda also is to be judged by its evil Erev Rav outer husk? ? Let's break this down in order to remove yourself from Christianity. So this is somebody's personal journey, and I know that we've all been on similar journeys. I'm not the only one to speak this. To try and get out of Christianity is difficult. So let's break this down. In order to remove yourself from Christianity, you first have to at least be born again Christian and have a supernatural spiritual awakening to be considered a true Christian, a receiver of the light of Mashiach ben Yosef, a revelation of the name of the upper face, Yod-Heh Waw-Heh, as revealed at Keter. Then once you calm down after this life-transforming and awakening, you have to immerse yourself in all the texts. Then at some point, you have to realise the text you are told is the Word of God is full of contradictions. I became a born-again believer at 27 years old and went to the Church of England. No questions were ever allowed to be asked. It was all dictated to you, and you followed a set liturgy every week. You just opened a book and said, the words that you said, you were told exactly what to say, when to say Amen, when to say Holy, Holy, Holy. It was just a set liturgy. I moved to Scotland, very close to the holy island of Iona, from where Christianity was birthed in Scotland, and went to a Baptist church and started to ask more questions. I was then introduced to a lady who was a British Israelite and former Worldwide Church of God, who tried to convince me that we still need to keep the original Shabbat festivals and kosher. I mean, this was all totally alien to me. We were saved by grace and that was it. The Baptist church on a small island, don't forget, that became aware of this evangelical British Israelite woman who were trying to tell us that Torah were not done away with, which were totally alien to anybody who'd just had a born again experience and gone straight into the church, and then even the Baptist church. The Baptist church then put out teaching about this deluded British Israelite woman to put up any more questions, and they basically had why British Israelism is a whole load of bunkum. And it is a whole load of bunkum from my understanding. There is truth in it, however. So, but she persisted with her arguments, and I counter-argument that we're saved by grace, etc. I, however, at least researched what she said. I also found out that St. Columbus, that's the name of, his name's Columcille, it means dove in Latin. Okay, it's Latin for Jonah. His name was Jonah and the island was Jonah. But he also kept the Jewish festivals and the Shabbat and opposed Rome on this matter. And then, Vikings massacred the monks and nuns on Iona, etc., and have probably paid for by Rome. It probably was. They sent Vikings to attack the ones that were powerful and opposing Rome, that wanted to keep the Jewish calendar, as opposed to Pope Gregory's sun calendar. Slowly after a year, by divine providence, I listened to a very respected international Scottish preacher. By the way, this came from the lady who was a British Israelite, who very gently said that some of Israel, not British Israelite nonsense with the lost house of Israel, and that the true biblical Shabbat was Saturday, etc., and that this is the day that all the early believers kept. This was just a very, very well-known Scottish teacher, somebody that you could trust, not this woman that had been part of the Worldwide Church of God, and she had quite extreme opinions on lots of different matters, but just a really steady, salt of the earth man, Scottish man, that simply told the truth. And I was then able to understand, okay, so let's try keeping the Shabbat, and I kept it from as soon as I listened to his series. I think it was a 3 or 4 part series. Then that weekend kept the Shabbat for the very first time, so it's going back a long time, 2003 or something like that, 2004 perhaps. And that this is the day that all the early believers kept. So it's not easy. This took me about a year to even get to this stage. A year just to get to the fact that we weren't. The Sabbath was a Saturday, and then I had to battle with my husband on that matter. Oof. It was not easy at all. So don't forget, we have to question so deeply the text that Yehuda infiltrated Christianity with. I don't know whether you know about the whole concept of the ninth of the Tevet, but according to Judaism, Simon Peter, the first pope, was infiltrated by the Jews to lead us into Rome. Okay, so to lead the believers of Yeshua all the way to Rome. And he became the first pope, but he was infiltrated, and some say that was actually Paul. And Pauline teachings are just infiltrated teachings in order to lead the believers to Rome. And that's exactly what happened. We all got left. We followed the Pied Piper, and they took us to Rome. And they took this light that we are carrying all the way to Rome. And Rome has kidnapped this inner light. And that's why Rome is so powerful, because it's feeding off our inner holiness. The inner light of Mashiach ben Yosef is what powers Rome, just as Joseph powered Egypt and made Egypt powerful. We need to get ourselves out of Rome. It says, this is no small task when questions are not permitted in all the main denominations. You need to break away from tradition, etc., and learn to think for yourself. You need to do a lot of research. You need to learn Hebrew. After then, then I went towards Messianic Judaism, went to America to do big Messianic Jewish conferences, a whole week in Pennsylvania, then up to Chicago, plus attending Messianic synagogue in Scotland. None of these recognise the lost house of Israel. If you are not Jewish, you are treated like vermin. You are not allowed to mention lost house of Joseph or Ephraim. That was when I went. You weren't allowed to mention, or just wait a minute, we could be B'nai Israel. You know, he came for the lost house of Israel. Oh no, there's Jews and you're Gentile. That's it. You shut down in Messianic Judaism. I certainly was all those years ago, going back 18 years or something like that. The escape from this delusion is almost impossible, just the trap of Messianic Judaism. So after years of battling against all the inconsistencies and visiting Israel many times, I finally decided to attend a synagogue. It was wonderful at first. After a short time, I totally abandoned my faith in Christianity. I give it all up. And I began a journey in conversion. I thought, there's none of it can be the truth. There's so many inconsistencies. It doesn't match up to what's written in the Torah. The Torah came first. It can't possibly contradict what had already been said when it's an eternal word of God. This just must be a whole load of baloney. I don't understand what happened to me when I was born again, but I'm not going to be a Christian anymore. I went towards Judaism, and I totally believed it was just a golden calf. It was just some form of idol worship. I couldn't explain the sincerity of it, but I couldn't go on any further. So I went from that to Judaism, and I cut myself off. Abandoned faith in Christianity and began a journey of conversion. Still a little perplexed about the whole thing of Christianity, but figuring out there were just too many inconsistencies for it to be the truth, but not having an explanation regards a supernatural rebirth experience. Didn't have any understand, just had to live in denial. It just must have been God trying to reach us to just drag us out and bring us back to Torah. That's what I thought. That was just a means to an end, which it is a means to an end, but you've got to keep the light alive. That's the real means to the end. Okay, no Jew's going to tell you that, by the way, because they sold us to Rome. They don't want Joseph to be alive. It makes them look fools. You know, they're going to have to face the consequences of what they did 2,000 years ago. And nobody wants them to have to face those consequences. We know they've had it hard. We know that they've had their own mission to do. I'm not personally holding them responsible. You know, but at the same time, I'm not willing to extinguish my light. The truth that Joseph is still alive. He's alive in me. He's no doubt alive in all of us. not putting this light out. It might be awkward, the fact that he's going to be revealed soon. This light is going to be acknowledged. There's no way for you to escape this reality, because divine providence will engineer it. He's got to come to terms with that reality. He can't just expect us to abandon this light. It's the whole purpose for which Christianity was and is. It's the whole purpose of Christianity, to keep this light alive. Like I've said before, Yaakov had to split the camps in two when we went up against Esau. We split his camps in two when we went up against Esau, Edomite exile. So, but it got no better. So going into Judaism got no better. Going to the synagogue, beautiful, beautiful experience. Again, an undeniable light of the name of Yodeh-Wah experience from within the letter of the Torah. You can't deny going and listening to the words of the Torah every week. Following along letter by letter, going through the whole prayer siddur, having the kiddush in the shul afterwards, going to Israel, all the festivals, all the machzors, all the ceremonies, all the ritual of the experience, keeping all the mitzvot, keeping Shoma Shabbat, everything's so much more holy. Everything is so much more organised. There's nobody twerking in there. Like maybe at Simchat Torah, a few of the men, because they get a few drinks within them, but it's holiness. It's purity. My rabbis were Haredi rabbis. I went to an Orthodox shul, but they were both. In both shuls I had Haredi rabbis. Very, very sincere, devout, holy men. And this was your influence for 7 years, in and around these people who were so serious, so devoted to serving Hashem. From the minute they worked, there was not one stray word would come out of their mouth on Shabbat. Holiness, discipline, consistency. It's beautiful to see. Okay, but then there's some things about it that's really not right. Anti-Goy sentiments are really not acceptable, and it's just every week. They're just so used to it they don't even realise how evil it is. Okay, it's protected, that holiness. I acknowledge that they are needed protected from the evil, in contrast of Christianity. But at the same time, when they two lights come together, got to divest of both those outer evils. Their hatred towards each other has got to go. There's got to be mutual love and respect. So go towards that. I put got no better from the fat to the frying pan. So I'm going to say something that's quite negative about the experience now that I've said something really positive. Okay, so if they're allies in Christianity, then the total anti-Goy sentiment in Judaism is as horrific as any lie. It is every week, over and over and over, lies about the nations and a false sense of superiority about Yehuda. No truth is ever going to permeate that lie. As long as they cling to this anti-Goy sentiment and don't recognise Yosef in the nations, in the religions that they hate, they're never going to escape. They're going to be always encrusted in evil. Okay? They don't question anything. They're so superior, they don't question anything. They don't question what the rabbis say. There's too much going on. This is just you just have to do as you're told in Judaism. There's no creativity. You follow a set siddur every week. And it's so thick. Like the Shabbat Sidur's this thick, the interlinear Shabbat Siddur, getting just through that on a Shabbat for Orthodox people. You've nothing else to think, haven't got time to think. Doing all the mitzvahs on getting ready for Shabbat, and then keeping the Shabbat Shoma Shabbat, not turning lights on, making sure everything's on timers, and everything's to a time. It takes up a lot of effort. A lot of effort to be an Orthodox Jew your entire life. Okay, so you're not going to question anything. You do what the rabbi says. Everything you do. You do something in your kitchen, like if you keep a kosher kitchen, separation of meat and milk. If you use if something like a bit of milk you got in a meat dish, you got to say it aside. Ask the rabbi what to do. You can't make the decision for yourself. Things like, I'm not going to go into details because I don't want to embarrass the whole thing, but, the relationships between a man and a wife, they are determined by, certain evidences that's got to go before the rabbi regarding a woman's state of purity. So, family purity and stuff like that, it's got to be examined and everything. It's determined by a very stringent observation of Torah commandments, and that affects every aspect of life. Okay, it's very governed. So you don't question anything because you're too busy doing what you're supposed to be doing. And everybody's monitoring you in a very frum community. Everybody's like looking, and they would notice anything that you did was out against Torah. You've got coloured trousers on. Your shoes are a different colour. Then everything they would notice. Even like they notice you can be eating kosher, but for somebody else that's not kosher enough. That's got one kosher mark on certification. It's not got the certification that they regard as kosher. So they done a look down on you. Like for example, Fox's Sweets. Fox's Sweets are kosher. Yet some people, no, we're not eating them. So, somebody once told me a story about a girl on a bus handing sweets out to all her friends. One of them, oh no, our family doesn't eat them. Yeah, but they're kosher, there's nothing wrong with it. No, but we don't eat them because they're not kosher enough for us. So then you make the girl that's offering them feel as if she's worthless. It's just... it's something not quite nice about that. But they notice everything that you do. Everybody that's coming into the kosher supermarket that's dressed a certain way, the waifs and strays. And certain people won't go and eat in certain kosher restaurants because they don't think that would be kosher enough for them. There's a lot of that involved. And you just become, when I lived in the Jewish community, you just become aware of it, right? So let's go on from here. They're not questioning anything. They're brainwashed by anti-Goy sentiment. It will hold them captive until Yosef reveals himself and the lies of Yehuda is fully exposed. In him doing so that's just when me coming up against Judaism. And a lot of people just go through the conversion. There's a lot of Christian pastors, all denominations that have realised there's something wrong with Christianity. Then they go towards the brother Judah, and he's just got to abandon it all. So they do, and then they convert, and they think that, well, look, we're Jews now. Well, what are you? You've put your light out. The entire light that you were supposed to carry, you've extinguished and just become Yehuda. Well, there was already Yehuda carrying a light. What about the Christians making it out? How many are going to make it out intact with this light still shining, refusing to put it out just because Yehuda demands it be put out? How many are going to make it? How many are going to carry that torch to the end? Get right to the end? Keep that alight? And be able to say, Od Yosef Chai, to their own father? How many? Let's read on how many more obstacles. Even our Jewish brother Yehuda is one of the biggest obstacles himself. So for Yosef to fully return is phenomenally difficult. Every escape route is filled full of nearly impossible obstacles to navigate. Sacred namers, Sadducites, British Israelites, lunar Shabbats, lunar Sabbaths, 10 tribes, Orthodox Jews, Reformed Jews, Messianic Jews, Karaite Jews, Essenes, Nazarenes, on and on, one lie after another. They've all got some truth, we ain't got the whole truth. They all want you to submit to their ways of thinking. And there's error in it all. So you have to completely isolate yourself from everything you was ever told that was the truth from Yehuda, the truth from Christianity, and learn to read the map for yourself. What a task. What a task in that. Like, I've had to literally hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of analysis trying to figure the pieces of the jigsaw and put it together. Okay? And you have to have been blessed with the time to do that. That's time. Sometimes I've sat in front of the computer analysing scripture maybe 16 hours a day. Some days I've just not been able to put it down. I've been so desperate to find answers. Okay, to try and figure out what it is all about. Why? Why this? What is the way forward? What is the truth? So trying desperately not to take a wrong turn into another blind alley, because I came across all those and it hurt every time. And I had to figure out where next. You know, Jews demand you extinguish not just the lies of Christianity but the light and the truth also. Where next? Islam. I've literally thought, I've said to God, what do you want me to go to a mosque now? Where do I go from here? All ways out are blocked. You go up. I'm telling you, you got to just ascend. You can't let yourself be bogged down by the reality on the ground, because everybody's chasing the tail. Go up. That's your way out. Get closer to God, because he's the only truth. The Jews demand you extinguish. Oh, I've already said that. I have asked God this question: where do I go in this world at this time? It is from one light to the next. So I continue on my journey. This is a comment that I gave over to this guy after arguing all day. I was exhausted, mentally exhausted, of trying to defend myself as some sort of valid, just making yourself valid, like Joseph is alive. Like Joseph is alive. The purpose of my being is to carry the light of that name through all this darkness, to not let it be extinguished. And now you just want me to extinguish it because you're uncomfortable with Joseph being alive? It's not going to happen. Okay, so it is, where do I go? Is from one light to another. So I continue on my journey, clung to the name of Yod-Heh-Wah-Weh, listening to Jews like you who can only accuse Christians, not lifting one finger to actually help, but demanding respect and obedience to your lies and delusion that will not acknowledge the truth. You might have faced the outer husks of Christianity from the outside collectively as a people. So the Jews have suffered with Christianity. I don't deny that. I think it's wicked. I wanted to get away from Christianity like poop off a stick. Couldn't be quick enough for me. You know, but it was like from the fat to the frying pan in a lot of respects. I can understand why the Jews hate Christianity. I hate Christianity. I've suffered from Christianity. I've been stuck in it, trying to bang my way out of all this evil, to try and get home, you know, to try and divest of all the filthy garments that you didn't even realise were filthy. You might have faced the outer husks of Christianity from the outside collectively as a people. You created the husk, by the way. Yehuda created them. Yehuda sold Joseph to Rome. Yehuda created the problem. He lied. He told you in the Torah. He lied regarding. They know that Yeshua was the Mashiach. They definitely absolutely knew. There's no doubt they knew on Tisha B'Av. He was the Mashiach on Tisha B'Av because it saved all the people that believed in him through getting him out of Jerusalem. But try getting out of the sheer demonic husk of darkness from the inside out, intact alone, with that light still shining, because you'd give up. You nearly want to give up. You're just in limbo. I've been in limbo, like just nothing. Like nothing, like feeling you're nothing, like what am I? I don't even know what. I just keep going. I don't know how to stop. You know, once I kept starting to keep the Shabbat, in Orthodox way, in a Shomer Shabbat way, you just can't stop. You know, when you keep kosher, you just can't stop. That's the situation that was at. I've been able to take my foot off the pedal now a little bit, but you're doing it wondering why. I'm doing this. I'm still following the prayers in the book. I'm still reading the Torah. I've had to move out of Jewish community because of things with the London Beth Din and all the feelings of rejection, and you're not worthy and you're nothing, and just coming to Scotland, and even though you're in a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place, wondering why you can't walk to the shul to hear the Torah anymore, and just feeling rejected and excluded and not worthy or good enough. That's why it was. Coming out of Christianity were bad. Coming out of Judaism, you're at war. You see, the outer evil husks are going to bash your brain in something cruel, because you ain't got the power to fight those. You're slaughtered by them. At least you had the power to fight the Christian lies. But when you are totally convinced that they've got it right, and then you realise they haven't, but you haven't got an answer for that, this is awful place. You just you feel like you want to be an atheist. If I hadn't have had all the wonderful spiritual experience, I'd have given up. So it's not easy for Joseph to get out. It's not easy to get out and keep that torch of flame. It's not easy to get out of Judaism with the light of the Torah alive either. You would want to abandon both. So you might have faced the outer husks of Christianity from the outside. Collectively as a people, you created these husks by the way Yehuda sold Joseph to Rome, but try getting out the sheer demonic husk of darkness from the inside out, intact alone. When Yod-Heh-Wah-Weh reveals Joseph to his brothers by divine providence, be sure Joseph will have earned the respect he is due. So don't give up on this journey of faith, where you know the light that you are carrying inside. Don't ever let that be extinguished. It's your own soul, by the way. We have a portion of Moshe Rabbeinu and Yeshua HaMashiach within us. Both of those lights, within the letter of the Torah and above the letter of the Torah. I mean, I can't speak for everybody. I feel that I have. And that is what we've got to remember. But predominantly, if we've come from a Christian background, you know what? The light that we are going to be shining is the name above the letter of the Torah. We've got to unite with our Jewish brothers and sisters. In my life, I've been able to, I've had the privilege of being in both camps. Okay. But that is just like, it's a prototype of what's to come. We need to get the both lights out. I'm evidence of that in my own life. I can see it clearly in my life now. And I can see what needs to be done. This is just a tiny little microcosm of what has to happen in the macrocosm. The both lights, they cannot be extinguished. They need to come together in some way. And that's why we need Mashiach ben Dawid, because he loves both the Jews and all the wonderful ways that they have kept Torah for 2,000 years. And more, since Moshe was over 3,300 years, 3,335 I think it is, of Pesach this last year. And the Christians have kept faithfulness for 2,000 years almost. This light of Yosef alive. Let's bring them together. We need Mashiach ben Dawid because he loves what the Jews have done and he loves what the Christians have done. Those lights are both essential for the lamp of David, the lamp of Israel not to be extinguished. Let's go and have a look at the gematria to show without question that is exactly what is required. Okay. Right, so next bit, still small voice. So the square ordinal plus the regular comes to 1,656. The still small voice is the name of Yod-Heh-Wah-Weh. This number here, 434, is Mashiach ben Dawid. It's probably going to come up at some point. Not quite yet. Right, so we can see the still small voice. That is the name of Yod-Heh-Wah as revealed to Elijah within the letter of the Torah. Okay? It's unbelievable. So we know that's linked to the truth or Yosef Kai that's given over to Yaakov from Eliyahu, talked about this a lot, and also so that you extinguish not your lamp. So talking about two revelations of Mashiach ben two revelations of Yod-Heh-Wah, the upper face and the lower face. So this is phenomenal stuff. I'm going to try and go through it quickly. Right, so here look, we've got Keter, crown. We've got Tifereth, which is the lower face. Yod-Heh-Wah is revealed within the letter of the Torah. The Moshe, Yosef, Keter, the upper face. Right, so if we take the regular and the ordinal, and look what the ordinal is, 53, which is the ordinal of Yeshua. The regular and the ordinal of this, and what is that ordinal? That's the ordinal of Mashiach ben David, when David is spelt Daleth Vav Daleth. Okay. If we add them both together, the regular and ordinal of that and the regular ordinal of that, 1836, exactly the same as the regular and ordinal of so that you extinguish not the lamp of Israel. The lamp of Israel is the upper face and the lower face. Yod-Heh-Wah, the all-merciful level, Yod-Heh-Wah within the letter of the Torah, Zerampin. It's a unity. That lamp cannot be extinguished. Neither can our testimony. Our testimony of Yosef. Our testimony of Yeshua. Our testimony that Yod-Heh-Wah was faithful to Yosef, to find the lost house of Yosef from wherever they were scattered to. And he came for us via Yeshua HaMashiach. Okay, so let's have a look. This number will come back again, 1503. It comes back again when we're analysing about the one that, the mysterious name and Isaiah 53:9. So tree of life. This is the tree of life. So where do we get this from? If we take Keter and Tifereth, okay, Keter and Tifereth regular, it comes to 1701. If we add 2 kalels for each word, it comes to 1703, which is exactly the same as the regular and ordinal Mispah Gadol of Eitz HaChaim, tree of life. What is the tree of life? The name of Yod-Heh-Wah. And there's a double connection there, look. It's not only the Mispah Gadol, but if we also add up the Mispah Gadol and tree of life, the regular, the Mispah Gadol and the regular, it comes to 1836, exactly the same as Keter and Tifereth. The two names of Yod-Heh-Wah are revealed at the two levels, exactly the same as the regular and ordinal, so that you not extinguish the lamp of Israel. It was taken off the war, it was taken out of the battlefield. We weren't. The lamp was taken out. We're carrying the torch so that we can fill the lamp up with oil. We are the olive. We are the oil that needs to go into the lamp of David so that it will not be extinguished. We can't be extinguished. We've got to get off that battlefield. We're in the fiercest part of the battle, by the way, at times. And it's really been a big battle. You heard what I said. These are real arguments that are going on between Jews that are trying to help the lost house of Israel, don't really understand how to help, because they just think, just extinguish everything you've ever loved and just come be Jews with us. You just got to convert to be Orthodox Jews with us, just keep Torah, that's it, that's enough. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not enough. It's not enough. Perhaps the king will perform a request for his handmaid. Okay, so this is King David. This is another mysterious section. maybe you can go and have a look at this. I haven't got time in this section, but the word for the handmaid is very mysterious, because it's actually et devar and motor can also be understood as the word of his truth, or the word of truth, emet, devar emet, or devar emetor is his truth, the word of his truth. So there's something about truth that's very important. Okay, but in this instance, it's exactly the same as the triangular number of so that you will not extinguish his lamp. Basically and essentially, it's the truth. The truth is utterly and absolutely necessary now to bring us into redemption. It's only the truth. The truth shall set us free from this evil that we're suffering. And then this as well. So just in case you was wondering, this is 1794, which is again Yaakov with the extra vav with the truth. So this is a square ordinal mispagadol. So when you take the pay as being a mispagadol. So Yaakov with the truth and Yosef mispagadol, add them together, come to 1794, exactly this, exactly connected to this, which is perhaps the king will perform the request of his handmaid. Like I say, go and have a look at that, because it's quite mystical. She's sort of been forced to go, but she sort of gives she lets the king know that she's been you have to go read it. She sort of lets King David know that there's a plot behind her being there, if you like, and she's giving him words to arouse him to be aware that there's some sort of plot going on. Okay, so it's all quite interesting stuff, because there's been a plot like that against Joseph. The king needs to know about it, and King David was from Yehuda. So 1794 is the unity of Yaakov and Yosef. So Tifereth and Yesod. Keter is revealed through Yesod, through Yosef. Okay, it's the crown. Like Yosef represents the male anatomy in a way, and there's an aspect of a male anatomy called the corona that needs to be circumcised. Okay, I've talked about these issues a lot. So, Tisha B'Av. This is the 9th of Av when the temple was destroyed. Yosef should have been revealed. Yeshua should have been revealed as the Mashiach. He was revealed as the Mashiach at that point. How do we know? Because there was a 3-day, there was a siege, a Roman siege on the entire city of Jerusalem, and there was 3 days where the siege was lifted, and in those 3 days all the Jewish believers in Yeshua got out, went to a place called Pella, their lives were saved. The people were there who were there, horrific suffering. Okay, and a lot of that suffering was brought about by the zealots, that were Jewish zealots, because they burnt all the storehouses. It tells you in the Talmud what they did, and Ramban, Yochanan and Ben Zakkai had to escape, pretend to be dead and escape, and through him was Rabbinical Judaism founded. There's all kinds of things. The origins of Rabbinical Judaism and the origins of Christianity sort of was around that time, where the Jews then created these teachings that would lead the believers then to Rome. But they knew that he was the Saviour, because he saved all his flock. He saved all his flock, and they knew that, what they'd done, that his advice came true. The temple was destroyed. He prophesied it would be destroyed, and not only that, he performed a great salvation for those who listened to him and trusted in his word. So everybody knew the truth at that point. And I've also talked about this whole celebration called the Week of the Sun, and that is for Yeshua Haben. It's all written in the Talmud. It's all mysterious celebrations that occurred. It's connected to the morning of Jerusalem, the morning of the fall of the temple, all kinds of mysterious things like that. I've done that in the teaching. That there was a teaching that I did. It's quite a long teaching, the rain that didn't come down, talking about the Gog and Magog war. And in that I go through the whole concept of this mysterious teachings regarding these festivals that were observed at the time of the fall of the temple. So Tisha B'Av was the time of the fall of the temple. It was the day the Mashiach was supposed to be born. Yeshua is the only man that was born on that day. Because he was born as a prophet and he was born as a saviour, Mashiach of his people. So they was aware of something, and it would appear from the Talmud they started to celebrate these particular festivals that was possibly associated with a son called Yeshua. Or they say it's a circumcision. It's not related to a circumcision, because a circumcision is nothing to do with a week, and it mentions it's the week of the son, and then some say it's a redemption of the firstborn. It's nothing to do with that. It talks about mourning. It talks about bones. You know, it's on Motzi Shabbat. That was the gathering of the believers on Motzi Shabbat. So there's all kinds of mysteries, but I can't talk about it now. I talk about it in that teaching, the rain that came down, if you're interested. So Tisha B'Av should have been a union between Yaakov and Yosef, Mashiach ben Yosef, Tiferet and Keter, but it didn't actually happen, but it will. It will eventually, when we put all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together. Give me here the head of John the Baptist in a charger. So this is directly related to Tisha B'Av. And it's also related, look at this, if we take the regular and add a Kalel, it's also the unity of Yaakov and Yosef. This unity will bring about, through Yosef, there's unity between Yaakov and Esau, so body and soul. John the Baptist was Eliyahu and Navi. Eliyahu and Navi represents, and you can, if you go listen to the video that I did on Elijah, Eliyahu represents perfected physicality. That's why he went into heaven alive. He perfected physicality. Okay, Yeshua is here to help us perfect physicality, to overcome Esau that represents physicality. So we need a very powerful light, the light of Mashiach ben Yosef, to subdue all those forces of Esau. And what do we need in order to subdue Esau, which is equivalent to the Yetzer Hara, which is equivalent to the lie, the evil inclination, lies and fantasy and fiction, lusts and impulses? We need the truth. We need the truth. So we can't abandon the truth. We can't be expected to lie. You see, when you're reading the Torah, look at all the liars and how successful they weren't. They didn't accomplish what they wanted to accomplish through lies. The Torah teaches us this. Nobody did. They accomplished something, but there was also too many negatives. And Yaakov never met with Esau. He never overcame Esau. He lied to Esau. He accomplished a lot through that lie and that deception. Imagine what he's going to accomplish through the truth, because he ain't yet gone and defeated Esau in Esau's own territory. Esau represents Satan. Esau represents physicality. Esau represents the delusion. How do you overcome the delusion? With the truth. So give me the head of John the Baptist. Really, it's probably linked to the whole concept of the fact that Esau's head went into the cave of Machpelah. You know, perfected physicality at Esau's level is really, it was his head that was saved, wasn't it? So there's even a connection there, there's hints there. We really need Esau to be comprehending the truth. When we comprehend in our mind the truth, the rest of the body is nullified by that. You know, it's like most of our problems in Edomite exile is getting the right knowledge, the right understanding, the right wisdom, the right influences in our mind that can then have a very positive effect over all our physicality. When we've got lies in our imagination, our body is responding to those lies. It's either in fear, in panic and anxiety, in illness, can't sleep, in stupid lusts. Our thoughts create all them problems for us physically, and then what? We lose contact with Yote Wauhe. We need to calm all that down. You need to have the right thoughts. The truth in your head is going to have a big impact in your body. The truth is going to subdue those forces down rather than let them run riot. Because the truth is ultimately a revelation of the name of Yod He Wahweh. That's the only truth. And even our body can respond and conform to that. There's a verse in Job, I think it's something like that. From my flesh I perceive God. So we can calm it down. So this give me the head of John the Baptist. There's something of a connection to Asap's head, which is the redeemable part and aspect of Asaph. He basically needs to be told the truth. That's what our soul needs the truth to overpower our body. It's give truth to Yaakov. The soul needs the truth. The soul that's living in a physical body needs the truth to overwhelm all those impulses and consequences of living in a physical body in this repulsive Edomite exile with all its lies. And even the lies that we inherit from the religion, it's just one big battle with the forces of the serpent, the liar. This is very interesting, isn't it? This is very interesting. So you've got all the filled values up here. Add them together, come to 13,430, which is 10 times 1,343, which is the regular Mispagadol and ordinal of Samaria. Shomron, what's Samaria? This is the capital of the northern kingdom. This is where Shiloh is. Okay? The capital of the northern kingdom, where the lost tribes of Israel first went to, and then they got taken into captivity from there and scattered in the whole world. So we can see it's connected, so that you not extinguish the lamp of Israel. It's letting you know that this is not just Yehuda, because it's David who's the lamp. It's not just Yehuda. It's 100% including the northern kingdom and Shiloh. It's including Yosef. It's including Yosef. Okay? Can't get any more clearer than that either. Ephraim before Manasseh. So this is the blessing, isn't it? Yaakov blessing Ephraim and Manasseh. Okay? And that blessing then goes to all Israel. Say it every Shabbat. You get your sons and you put the talit over and you do the Aaronic blessing on your children. You say, may Hashem make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. In Hebrew, obviously, but this is also connected to the concept of the Aleph Lam Mim. The Aleph Lam Mim. Because it's Aleph Lam Mim. And this is what I said in the previous teachings. I can't remember which one now, but I think it's Yehuda, Yosef and Yishmael, the unity of Yehuda, Yosef and Yishmael. Ephraim is the younger that came before Manasseh. You've got two main branches of Christianity. You've got two main revelations, shall I say, of Yeshua. One based on Pauline Christianity, one based on Jacobite Christianity, Jewish Christianity. The Jewish Christianity found expression in Islam because it's divested of all the Roman gods. It's just Yeshua as he was understood from a Jewish Christian perspective as opposed to a Pauline Christian perspective, but there's truth in both. There's truth in both. They two need to come together as well, because there is truth in both revelations. There's lies as well, but there's truth as well. But Ephraim before Manasseh, because Manasseh represents Pauline Christianity and Ephraim represents Jewish Christianity. Okay, so Ephraim is the younger because it found expression mostly in this world through Islam. Yet Islam is younger than Pauline Christianity, Manasseh. So it's connected to the whole Aleph Lam Mim concept found in the Quran. And it's also related to the fact that Ephraim is more holy than Manasseh, but Manasseh is carrying a brighter light than Ephraim. The truth is much brighter in Manasseh, because it's the truth of, you don't get the name of Yod-Heh-Wawi in Islam. Let's just make that clear. Ephraim is like the Jewish Christianity, didn't maintain the actual revelation of the name. That's why in Islam there is no name. They are the vessel that needs to fill with the name. They could be in a way seen as the lamp of Israel. But you see, they two lamps need to come together. The two olive trees need to come together first. The two revelations need to come together to fill the bowl that then fills the lamp, the menorah of David, the lamp of David. Okay, so there's lots of things involved in all that. I've talked about this in lots of lessons, but the numbers are even showing it. It's unbelievable. It's revelation. And then we've got this, haven't we? The Mispagdima number 6,252, which is 4 times 1,563, which is exactly the square ordinal Mispagdal of King of the Nations. Because Yod-Heh-Wawi doesn't just want to be king over Israel. David is not just going to be king over Israel. He's going to be king over the nations too. So this is as well as him being faithful to Yosef, and as well as there being that light of Bnei Yosef that needs to be kept alive, that's also you've got to remember God's plans for all humanity. He's going to be king over Israel and king of the nations. Melech Yisrael u Melech Goyim. And this is quite an interesting number, 521. This is 3 times 521, so this will be 12 times 521. Cream and honey he will eat. Okay. Which regular and ordinal comes to 521. This as well, that is HaQuran. The Quran is 427. And cream and honey is the Mashiach. Cream and honey he will eat when he knows how to reject evil and choose good. That's the Mashiach. Adam, the rabbis say it's each letter of Adam is Adam, David and Mashiach. Well, if you add them all up, exactly the same as cream and honey you will eat. Exactly the same, 521. So related to the King of the Nations, the Mashiach is final. Adam includes Yod-Heh-Wawi being the King of the Nations, or the King of our bodies. This is when we've got to subdue Esav with the truth. Esav represents the nations, Yaakov represents Israel. We've got to unite them both together. And as you can see, that is the whole of Adam. That is the role of the Mashiach, and that is up here, so that you not extinguish the lamp of Israel. This lamp to the nations, this light to the nations. It's all connected. It's all truly wonderful. Let's go and have a look at some more numbers. I think this is the mysterious name now. Possibly. All right, no, this is another concept. So there's two, talking about the olive trees in Zachariah. Let's go and have a look. Right, so I'm not going to go through this a lot. I will be doing other teachings on this most probably. I've already got the teachings, it's just getting to the top. So this is the, and I saw, behold, there's a candelabrum of gold with an oil bowl on top of it and 7 lamps thereon. 7 tubes to each of the lamps are on top. And there were 2 olive trees near it, one on the right, one on the left. And I answered and spoke to the angel who talked to me, what are these, my Lord? And it just goes on, and it just goes on. It says, and at the right at the end it tells you, it says, these are the 2 anointed ones who stand before the Lord of all the earth. I'm going to tell you the gematria of the 2 anointed ones. I can't do it in this lesson. Is Ephraim and Manasseh. Exactly the same gematria, 732. And that's connected to These are the two sons of Joseph that Yaakov adopts, okay, that are related to Islam and Christianity. Okay, he's a bit shocked at first, isn't he? Yaakov, who are these? And Joseph's got to convince them they're my sons. This is exactly what's going to happen with Christianity and Islam, because they don't look like they belong to Yaakov. It's all beautiful Torah. It's got all Yod Heh Wawi fulfilling his Torah. So there's a mystery involved in that. So there's two types of oil. We talked about Keter and we talked about Tifereth. There's two different types of olive oil. Okay, there's what's called the pure crushed oil for lighting, lighting the menorah. Okay, it's got a triangular number of 1885. I'm going to try and show you how it's linked to this. They're definitely all linked. This is according to what's written in a book called Pardes Rimonim, The Orchard of the Pomegranates by Moshe Cordovero, who wrote the Date Palm of Deborah, which is the book about all the revelation of the name of Yod Heh Wawi at the level of Keter. He wrote this same book. It's unbelievable what's written here. So it's telling us that this pounded oil, this crushed oil, is Yesod. So Yesod really, Yosef represents the name of Yod Heh Wawi is revealed at Keter. Okay, but it's come down to that level and then got garbed up in Esav, the foreskin of Esav. I've talked about that a lot. We need that oil. We need that oil. We need that oil for the lamp of David. Look at this. And behold, it had plucked an olive leaf in its mouth. And we just did on last lesson, the one on Elijah that I did all about the olive leaf. Who is the olive leaf? It's King David. King David is the olive leaf. I did the whole teaching and showed it out. I can't do it now, but it's in the Elijah teaching they did. The one that's just Elijah on its own. It's an incredible teaching, all about the dove. So we can see that this pure crushed olive oil for lighting is directly connected to the plucked off olive leaf. That is David. That is the Mashiach. We're told that this olive leaf in her mouth is the Mashiach. 1885, the anointed one. The Mashiach means anointed with oil. This oil that goes into the lamp of David. Oil for illuminating. So this is another type of oil. This oil for illuminating, this crushed oil is Yesod. The oil for illuminating is Tifereth. And this is what shines in Malkuth. This is what gets channeled into Malkuth. It's all very mystical. I might put a link in the description to a wonderful article on Chabad.org. In fact, I'll show you it so you've got it. So this is the article. Oil flowing from the heavens. Is absolutely brilliant. It's quite deep Kabbalistically because it's taken from Shnei Lukot HaBrit. Now I tried to get hold of that book set that's been translated by Ellie Monk. It's over £1,000 to get hold of it. It should cost about £100. It's now over £1,000 if you want a copy of that. So if anybody's got a copy of it, keep a hold of it. It's worth a lot. A lot of the Kabbalistic books have gone up in value a lot. But this is actually in Shnei Lukot HaBrit, but it's actually taken from a book by Pardes Rimonim, which is Moshe Cordovero. So it's one rabbi writing about another rabbi's work. It's incredible. It tells you all about the roots of the different oils and where they come from. So when the oil originates in Tifereth, however, it is called oil for lighting. So this is the name of Yod Heh Wawi. That's the great luminary called Tifereth. So we talked about we need Keter and Tifereth, but Keter finds expression through Yesod. Okay. Through Yosef. But the pounded oil is Yesod. So Keter is the crown, is connected to this revelation, the pounded oil, the double pounded oil, and it goes on and tells you where it's come from. There's all kinds of mysteries involved in there, but it's really from the name Ehiyah, which is from Keter. it's all connected. You'd have to read it. I ain't got time in this lesson. Let's go do some gematria. So you might have to do a little bit of research for yourself for that one. It's really wonderful. And then this gets channeled to Malkuth, the menorah, and who's Malkuth? David, the lamp. The lamp needs oil. We need to put the oil in. What is the oil? A revelation of the name of Yod-Heh-Wah-Wah. Maybe it's the whole process by which we crushed our oil. We crushed olives, aren't we? You know, we've taken the pounding, and then the oil that comes out goes into the lamp of David, and then guess what? That light then that emanates off that is the name of Yod-Heh-Wah-Wah, isn't it? We're the oil. All right, just wait a minute. This is it's so perfect. It's unbelievable. Look at that. Filled. It's in all four worlds. Shem and Ma'or is 1,321. So in Asiya, because there's no Hays and Vav, so they don't change. In Asiya, Yetzirah, Beriah, and Atziluth, it's 1,321. So David is 2. This is the filling out David to the second filling. The regular and ordinal come to 2,642. 2 times 1,321. It's just utterly perfect, isn't it? It's utterly perfect. It says that the filling out of anything is it to its absolute essence. So the absolute essence of David is connected to this Shemin Lama'or. What did it say? That illuminates in Malkuth. It's channeled to Malkuth. Doesn't say it in here. It said it on the article where it says Tiferet is what shines. David is what shines in Malkuth. What is David? The unity of both those revelations, the 2 sticks, both the upper and lower face of Yod-Heh-Wah-Wah. It's really wonderful. And then this is how it's connected, look, to this particular. It's not actually connected in numbers in this. I'm just showing you something that's slightly different, connected to Zachariah. What are these 2 olive trees? 877. Mashne hazay team. It's not the word ze, these. It's what 2 olive trees. Okay. Comes to 877. I'm going to do teachings on both. What are these 2 olive trees and what are the 2 olive trees? It's connected to Joseph is still alive. So we've got Joseph is still alive, the Mispar Gadol ordinal and the square ordinal added together come to 2,631, 3 times 877. So we see they're connected. What are these 2 olive trees? Well, Joseph is still alive is a big part of that, isn't it? And then that's taken from Zachariah 4:11. And I raised my voice and said to him, what are these 2 olive trees on the right, the candelabrum, and on the left? So it's all beautiful stuff. Let's go and have a look at this mysterious name then. So we've got this, haven't we? And he gave his grave to the wicked and to the wealthy with his kinds of death. Okay, so this is in the plural, bimotau, because really there's 2 deaths, isn't there? There's the death of the revelation of the name of Yod-Heh-Wah-Wah within the letter of the Torah, because it's concealed by the foreskin of the Erev Rav. And then you've got the death of the light of Mashiach ben Yosef within Christianity. But, you know, they've got to come back to life. Can't be totally extinguished. But this is how it's connected to this current affairs, because you've got Al-Lo Hamas, or so. Because no violence he did. He didn't do it or saw. And there was no deceit in his mouth. He wasn't a liar. Mirma. This is connected to Psalm 120. It talks about, you know, the tongue and the rotten wood, coals of rotten wood. I'm pretty sure Mirma is in there. Because he committed no violence. Let's go see what this is connected to. So this is the mysterious name, isn't it? And Elhanan, the son of Ya'are, the forests of the weavers. The Bethlehemites slew Goliath the Gittite. Who is it? It's David. David. Yet it's connected to here, look, because he committed no violence. 6,048 is 4 times 1,512. This is 2 times 1,012. I said this number's going to come up again. Let's have a look why. So this is just so connected. You see how the Mashiach is one soul, Moshe, Yeshua at the level of Keter, and that Moshe at the level of Neshama, within the letter of the Torah. The soul that's within the body is the Neshama, the highest level of soul kept within the body. The soul high above the body is the Yechida, that's Mashiach ben Yosef. The soul nearest to the body is the Chaya, but it's still outside the body. You see, if you got a light, a candle, there's different types of flame attached to the wick. Some are clung to the wick and some are above, surrounding the wick. You know, this is the light that we need to shine. It's literally all levels of our soul. So we need to connect to David. We need to connect to Moshe. We need to connect to Yeshua. If we want to be in this world as a light of the name of Yod-Heh-Wah-Weh, we need all aspects of the light. If we've just got the top bits, how's it going to attach to the wick? It's got to be a whole. You know, you can't just have the floaty, the far away light, the highest light. It just stays like a heavenly revelation. It's got to attach. King David is what that attaches to, and David attaches then to Moshe. They're the levels. So we need it all. So that I can test them whether or not they will follow my teaching. We have been tested. We have been tested. This is to do with truth. Do we go after our own imagination? And this is also, 252 is Ravlach. Ravlach, that's a teacher for you that came from Moshe to raise him up to the level of Mashiach ben Yosef, to teach him to be the Mashiach. I've gone on about that a lot. It's also connected to, again, it's connected to Yochanan Hamatvil. He was the Ravlach of Yeshua. He was the one who taught Yeshua that Yeshua was the Mashiach. Okay, he was able to perceive that he was the Mashiach. He was Eliyahu Hanavi, an incarnation of Eliyahu Hanavi. He was able to perceive the truth. This is why this number is associated with the truth. Okay, again, still small voice again. Still small voice. So the still small voice filled comes to this at the different levels. So we saw already that it was connected to that. Filled, it is 1506. That's Asiya, Yetzirah, Bria, Atziluth. Come to 6048. The still small voice that we know is where Yod-Heh-Wah-Weh is at. Sometimes you've got to go deep within yourself to find that still small voice. It's connected to David, and it's connected to this because he committed no violence. You see, Hamas is not a part. Is not a part of this. The fact that we did not commit Hamas is what is going to be part of David, is what is going to be part of Yeshua, and is what is going to be part of Moshe. It's a test. Did we do violence or not? Did we follow the teaching? See, these people who are Hamas, they betrayed the teaching that was given to them. The betrayers. They didn't follow the teaching. Know it, don't support it. It's wickedness that will be completely erased, as in the days of Noah. Have no part in it. It's a test. You side with this Hamas in any way, you are extinguishing yourself from being the light of the name of Yod-Heh-Wah-Weh, keeping that light alive. Don't fail the test. Don't fail this test. You shall give truth to Yaakov again. So if we add a Kalel for every letter, comes to 1506. I said it would come back. So this is exactly the same as up here because he commit no violence. You shall give truth to Yaakov. It's all connected to the suffering servant that's connected to all this. It's perfect. It's utterly perfect. So like I say, if we add three Kalel to that, that is even then connected to the still small voice as well. And it's connected to that as well. So this give truth to Yaakov, which is the truth od Yosef Chai, is connected to the still small voice that Eliyahu heard within the body. The still small voice within the body. That's the revelation of Moshe, who's at the level of soul that is within the body. The truth to Yaakov is the far surrounding light. Okay? The same light. The same light. It's the same name, just at different levels. It's perfect. Innocent ox, he was not guilty. Yeshua was not guilty. He was an innocent ox. Shor tam. Like his father was tam, perfect. It means he was a perfect ox. That's the ordinal of Mashiach ben Dawid. That's the ordinal of Mashiach ben Dawid. Mispar Gadol, ordinal. We can see it's connected to give truth to Yaakov, the still small voice. Okay? Mashiach ben Dawid, 434, still small voice. Mashiach ben Dawid is a unity. He's the lamping, he's the unity of all these names, the revelations of his names, the upper light and the lower light. Upper face and lower face, sorry. And they embalmed him, and he was placed into a coffin in Egypt. 1503, so links up to all here. Who? Yosef, because he committed no violence. He wasn't guilty of the things he was accused of, put to death. He was an innocent ox. 1764, 4 times 441, emeth. So that I can test them whether or not they will follow my teaching. Okay, it's a big test. We've had a big test. We've got to be faithful to the teaching that we have received. I received I wasn't always faithful. I was quite willing to abandon that. I didn't know what I was abandoning, by the way. I just was trying to get home. You know, going towards my Jewish people, because I figured they knew a little bit more about everything than myself, but I had to learn off them. I had to humble myself and learn off them, and then I also had to learn what was wrong about it and figure out, well, where do we go from now on in. The truth sets us free. The truth sets us free. Just be truthful all the time. And that is, I'm going to end it at that. There's more teaching on this to come, because I've done a whole teaching on this concept about his deaths, because it's more than one death. This Edomite exile it's like being in the belly of the whale. It's like experiencing a form of death, because you see, these lights have been extinguished to a certain degree. Now we've just got to rouse them back up, finish this job off, get ourselves with this oil to the oil lamp, you know, and let's get this light, let's illuminate the whole world with this light that is our life's experience, you know, like what I was just talking about, that comment. I mean, people have been through a lot worse than me. This journey's not been easy to keep these lights alive. But we've done it. The Jewish people have done it. The Jewish people have kept their light going. The light of Torah. Where did I learn from? Who have I learned all this from? Not Christians. I learned all this from my Jewish brothers. You know? It's the absolute truth. I have learned how to speak Hebrew. All Jewish resources. I learned from purely Jewish resources, because these are the ones I trust the most. But I've got to try and understand my experience from within Christianity, my testimony, the light that I have, and try and understand it from a Jewish Torah perspective. They have kept the teachings alive that has enabled me to understand the whole experience of Yosef being sold to Rome, Yeshua being sold to Rome, and what I need to do about that. I need to come home, but I don't need to extinguish it myself. That's what I have to understand. So you need to do a little bit of work yourself. You need to stand on the shoulders of the ones that have been before. That includes, the Christian experience and all those people who have kept Torah and toiled in the Torah to be able to bring us to this day where we can finally understand the entire of our experience, our individual experience, and the collective experience for the last 3,000 and odd years. And we are privileged now because we are starting to see the truth be revealed. And there's more to come. There's more to come. Mashiach is about to be birthed. Thank goodness we've waited a long time. We've suffered a lot. Okay, and with that I will say shalom. Please subscribe and share. There's more exciting teachings to come. Onward and upward. Shalom.